What do you know about India? Truly breathtaking nature, 11% of world gold reserves held by housewives, absolutely pragmatic view on commuting, extravagant social rituals. Well, I have heard it's one of the best places on earth for farming. That soil is literally blessed by gods, and it sounds like something that can make me a lot of money. Welcome. Today I'll be playing as Dir the Stranger, and my goal would be to make it big in India. I believe Dir is best starting character because he is touched by ineffable spark. First thing that happened absolutely fucking natural is a raid. Man, I tell you, this game changes you. Subsequently, I will divorce this woman I don't know and marry for love. And now it's time to make a trip south. I will go on a little adventure, following the whispers of opportunity, hustling around to make some loose change. Nearing my destination, I got lucky and a random woman converted me to witchcraft that will give huge benefits to my dynasty. As adventurer, it's hard to marry, cause no one likes people that live in tents. But you can just plainly seduce people with good traits to make a proper heir. After inviting 3 of my children to witch sabbaths, I was able to establish witch coven and get free perks from time to time. Converted to local Buddhist cult to better blend in, I choose the one that has a particular holy site that gives extra 10 lifestyle experience. And created a book of travels that will make my lineage extremely competent at whatever they will be doing. Now I will use the sacred power of hard cash to get myself a small county from this Indian king. The fact that I'm a bit unwashed does not stand in the way of honest transaction, because the language of coins is pristine. Right after, I will ask this Buddhist monk to fabricate a claim on the county of Magadha. And after it is done, I will simply go to my liege with this still fresh ink on this absolutely legal deed and ask him to restore lawful order by transferring that land to me. Sadly, in similar fashion, he also lawfully transferred the land that I bought from him back to himself. Well, karma is a bitch. Anyway, I got myself University of Nalanda, and that is what really is important. For now, let's sow a few small conflicts to acquire more dirt with strategic disposition. And with that create first duchy title. By unknown will of unspeakable power or patch changes, I can start a subjugation war against this king. That should work only between tribals, or at least it was so. Anyway, I cannot say no to that land and kingdom titles, so I will happily do that. Moving up social ladder was never this easy. Now add Scandinavian elective to kingdom and duchy titles. And it's time to diverge a culture. Get industrious to be able to build mills one era earlier, as well as increase development each time I build something. And city keepers to build mills not only in castle but also in cities. I will build Don Quixote personal hell. Our capital is highly convenient for commuting to holy sites. Everything is within hand's reach. So a few pilgrimage to get the piety, and I am ready to reform religion. This Buddhism branch will have a knack for commerce. Piety and profit are sides of same coin. So the only important parts of this religion I will explain is communion, so I can exchange piety with my head of faith, in order to get some gold, which will help with development at the start. Megalith construction in order to build megalith buildings that will help with development. And drachmic pacifism in order to have one extra domain. Quick tip on genetics: marry grandchildren with good traits to other grandchildren with good traits. This here is example of that at its best. Don't forget to put architect to work. This position can increase development in capital for a modest salary. We are at 22 at the moment, so there is much to do. Age takes its toll. Time for succession. I will marry an old woman, cause I'm not interested in children at the moment. But what I am interested is intelligence buff for education and research speed. Go to university to increase educational trait. It is year 930 and enough innovation very siege to make us eligible for joining high medieval era. Well, still need to wait another 20 years, but that signifies our speed is good. Construct megalith in duchy and temple for extra development. Like big standing stones need construction workers. Go to coronation, cause that's important. No, it isn't. But Oz is important. Shape kingdom to gain bonuses to construction time and cost. Obviously, I continue to put efforts in gaining extra taxpayers. Build cities in empty spaces of capital. And once they are ready, build windmills and guilds in them. And for the time being, I will be spending all my money upgrading everything in capital. I can ask the head of the faith for a little kickback for a true believer. God bless the infinite wisdom of tax refund. Now I will hybridize with Bengali culture. The main reason is to gain agrarian and to lose a few traditions that I no longer need. So I want agrarian, I want city keepers, obviously, and industrious. I still need Ting meeting in order to facilitate next succession. I will take religious patronage because it's just, why not? I have place for it. I will lose malleable invaders because I don't plan to hybridize anymore. And I don't longer need a coastal warriors. Well, basically I create enough regiments and I can lose it now. And I will take philosophical culture again because why not? Also, I will discover 4 innovation out of it. I will use Holy Legend to spread our religion. It is always a good idea to focus on consolidation when you are close to succession. Got diligent trade for my heir, but the capital is already at 70 for development, so it's unlikely to play a huge role. Because I have Note Thyself perk, I get a notification that unfortunately says that I will be dead within the year. Through my life, I was able to learn a lot, and all of that thanks to OP Book of Travels. In order to handle succession correctly, I will create all kingdom titles and add Scandinavian elective to them, and vote for my preferred heir after. I also came prepared, so I have Ducal Contest perk, and that will decrease the cost by 20%. This is third generation and I can take Strengthen the Bloodline decision. Now I need to conquer a lot of land, and fabricating claims is not an option, so I will create an empire title. And after that I will have a war for someone else's claim for a kingdom to gain a big chunk of land in one go. And after winning this war, I will immediately revoke the title I was having war for. Yep, just like that. And I will do it again. And again. Actually, I will do it quite a lot. And that leads to increase in tyranny value. Yes, that's indeed quite high number. But I came prepared by investing a lot in diplomacy, so people like me anyway, or at least don't complain too much. Okay, end of the line, so it's time to enact my plan. But before that, a war for the last county, because I'm an idiot and almost fuck up at the last moment. Managing succession for all of my titles through Scandinavian elective is quite a pain now, so I will remove it. I have complete control of the territory of all three Indian empires, and I will use Become Chakravarti decision to merge all of them into one. And switch to administrative government to get myself an easy succession mechanic. For now, no influence needed. My children have higher score because of imperial family buff. I will just give a title to my preferred heir to put him ahead. Now I will be just giving titles to my house member when possible, and upgrade buildings in my domain. Alright, I did not expect that. I believed you need to have Warmonger Tenet or alternative to start a crusade, but my next after God guy somehow started one, which is especially funny cause I have pacifism. Maybe it happened because drachmic pacifism is somehow special. You know what to do when you meet Buddha on the road. Not a problem anyway. But in order not to get distracted, I decided to reform my religion later down the way. I switched communion because I have enough money now and small tax refund doesn't matter much. And since I'm at the 100 development now, I don't need megalithic construction, so I switched them for a bit of extra damage. And succession happens once again. It is year 179, and that means that this guy will have to defend against Mongols. So I will put him on martial for time being to make that work. New era starts and Mongols show up right away. But it will take him some time in order to conquer land that will border mine so he can declare war on me. I will start a heroic legend because it gives extra damage to stationed men at arms. Research standing armies in order to increase the amount of regiments. Level up foot hostility traits for 2 extra regiments. Max out troops that I have. and max out provincial troops as well. So in 1217 he made me an offer I ain't no fucking way. Being an emperor, I take the most sensible decision to pay mercenaries to kill for me. Being a Mongol, he falls to usual tactic of not fighting if he can't win. Considering that nomads have a shit ton of buffs for army movement speed, I can't catch up. So it turns to varied Benny Hill show where he sieges my castles and run, while I counter-siege them and chase. But he is taking attrition, losing his not replenishable special troops, while I am constantly reinforced in my territory. So eventually he made a few bad maneuvers and sustained a terrible damage. So the victories are mounting, and then he died. From alcoholism. And his empire collapsed. Weirdest fucking invasion I have ever seen. Anyway, let's fast forward a bit to observe the results. It is year 1265 and now I have earned 5 million Aurum discs. Here is the breakdown of my income. And you can see I earn more through taxes now, thanks to 4th level of law. So let's look through my domain. I have 2 main duchies. One is of Gouda. It looks like this. And its main feature is that it consists primarily of farmlands. And the second is Duchy of Magada, where my capital is located. We have less farmland here, but the most important is that our capital is on a farmland, which gives us more development growth. Which also is important since we are agrarians, so that we merge this mainly in order to increase the development here and money from there. Except that I also acquired 1, 2 and 3 mines. I have decent development here, so they also rein in a pretty decent amount of income. As you can see, it's actually the same as in my capital that is fully developed. But here that's still not 100 development, and I did not finish building everything here, but it gives the same amount of money, so pretty effective. Except that I also got Baghdad for House of Wisdom for extra 15 lifestyle experience and Cairo for another 10. And obviously the third university is Nalanda, in my capital. Also, all of them give stats bonuses per level of fame. In synergy with Book of Travels that gives 40% lifestyle experience, it supercharges my ruler and leads to a situation like this. I have every perk in stewardship lifestyle, which helps me to make more money. I also went to Marshall. I get myself this tree because I was defending against Chinggis Khan. And I also went for absolute control in order to make even more money from my domain. After that, I also go for fear tax, which increase the tax contribution of intimidated and terrified vassals. And arbitration here gives another 20% for intimidated vassals contribution. And if you look here, terrified, it looks like this, and it's connected to amount of dread that you have. And let's look at my subjects. This one is terrified, this one, this, This one as well. Well, hard to calculate, but it's a large percentage of my vassals, so that has an impact, and that's why we can see this fucking big number. And lastly, I have an absolute autocracy that gives heavy penalty to opinion, but taxes are increased. I'm 100 years old, but still green health because I built a lot of shrines. And that also helps to make more money. Let's look at dynasty legacies. I have a domain limit from here. I obviously got fecund to appear from architect ancestry and extra 5 years from here. General opinion from glory pass for better relation with vassals. And graceful aging gives random skill points every few years. And when the game started, I was not dynasty head, so I put 3 points in adventure pass, which is kinda useless. But in the end, there is a decentralized rule that gives 1% tax contribution for each vassal that is your friend. So obviously I started to befriend my vassals. About culture. Industrious and city keepers are core of economic strategy. Industrious is mainly needed to build mills one era earlier, so now it is less useful, but it still helps my vassals get development when they build something. Then they will earn more money and pay more taxes to me. City keepers don't do much at this moment because it is mainly to speed up development in mid-game, but again still can be useful to my vassals. I no longer need Ting meeting, just didn't have time to switch it for something else. These two I got for free from Bengali culture. They are okay, but they are here mainly because better than nothing. And parochialism is here to increase amount of taxes from parochial vassal, and I have a decent amount of those. And family business is here because people from my family are often on my console, so that will make them a bit more competent. My domain radiated development to neighboring vassals of other culture, and when they are doing better, they can pay more taxes. I am also using this mine that I converted to my culture, and after increasing its development to 100, it will help cultures in this part of empire gain development and researches. Those guys were mostly conquered by my vassals without me lifting a finger. You can see that because they are all administrative. So I have a nice big empire because it was technically 3 empires. And it's quite wealthy. And with 5 mils in the bank, I think it's a good place to stop. So long.